right, folks, let's get right to it for a Thursday so we can get in, out, and be done. Get on with it. The major updates, the major deal. Market's kind of crazy, right? But let's relax with some harmonic patterns today. Great to see the folks come on in. What's up? Rogelio, Genghis Khan. Yo, man. Easy there. Successful Mindset Ernie, King of Fibs. What's up, Riley? Did a great little interview with Riley, Mr. King of Fibs. We posted that. You know what? I need to repost it, my friend, because I didn't post the correct link. But check that out on my Twitter feed. And big shout out to all of the people that follow me on Twitter. Just hit 20,000 followers. And as somebody I'm not quite a boomer, but a lot of times with you younger folks, I sure feel like it. And, you know, those numbers really never mattered to me, but big fat round 20,000. Hey, I guess that's something. I think I'm getting the people. That's what I want. What's going on, Ponzi? There's Lieutenant Ponzi in the chat. And, dude, you're on fire, man. You were just relentlessly on fire. Look at his feed, too. Because the guy has just been putting up just beef after beef. It's like filet mignon. Great to see everyone. B618, Lawrence, Crypto Headquarters, William, Rec Law, Funky Buddha, Vegas, David, as always, Miss Stephanie. What's up? You guys make this great. You make it happy for me. So let's just relax, enjoy what we do. Let's make this fun. If you're home alone keeping score or alone at home scoring, we need to review major stuff. And I think the semiconductors are probably where we start with today because it's insanity. Insanity. We were not terribly surprised, but we're major patterns here. And we knew we'd make a big run. These are just not necessarily off the charts, but it is bullish, super bullish, hyper bullish action that running into big patterns that I'm not going to dismiss. Don't want to, just jump in this and think, okay, it's 1999 all over again. Here goes the NASDAQ, going to do a 3x in 18 months. Not yet, it won't. We have some ideas of where this will go, but the semis are leading the way. They're going to continue to lead the way. Let's look for the opportunities for something like AMD. Okay, 184.52 has been rejected twice this week. And it's a major hop level off of the shark. And we're just, you're screaming overbought, but it hasn't rolled over yet. So we really need to just relax, breathe. Semiconductors have been around since it was like really the first big thing that I got into way back when because of the Philadelphia Stock Exchange and this Philadelphia Semiconductor Index. That's where they traded it. And now we see it. We see, there's just remarkable price action. You probably want to look at like monthly charts at this point where, yes, there's still more to go for something like that. We're not overbought. We have precedent. Go to the monthly. What's the last major breakout on that? All the way back. Look at this AMD thing. Okay, there's your chart. There's 2000. That's what I'm really kind of suggesting here. That you're in a 1999, 2000 environment. How about that? What do you think of that? Don't think that something can't come along and knock you off your britches where this is going to go to the moon just now. Let's apply the measurements. Let's just, little history, kids. 1618. Okay, it's like that. Up to almost 224 or 1902, but even on the monthly, you get to that point time and time again at 1618. It has significance. It's important. It's important to recognize that. In nature, the 1618, that's about the spot where the end of that growth cycle occurs. And look at these patterns. Okay, 2013, you know, a lot to go on. How about finding some stuff that's like this, at 2 before it goes to 180? Well, I have a few ideas. So, it's part of the challenge of what we do here every day. You want to play? You want to mix it up with the big boys? Well, we got to control ourselves. We got to relax. We got to be patient, strategic. If it's semiconductors, tech stocks, crypto, we got to measure. We have to get into the framework. We got to put our mind, body, and soul into what the harmonic pattern framework is all about. It's about respecting nature, dare I say, respecting universal signature. That's all. I'll go into that. But you're there. And maybe this is a breakout, but there's a process to it. On the monthly chart, you're there. You got earnings next week. What's AMD? Okay, AMD, if we just sketch it out, X, A, the B, where's that B? That's at about a 70, which is that's a pretty sketchy number, 707 actually. But let's just assume a 1618 for AMD. This is how we can gauge it to have an idea. How far is that going to go? Looks like it might go now. Maybe get into February and then have a little bit of a overspill, but we've been in front of AMD since 95. Anybody remember that? Remember why? Remember why we were in AMD back in 95? Now, I dumped out 30 points ago, but there you go, shark at 95. Go back to October. Take a look at what we were saying at that point. Okay, we thought it would be a type 1. We got a dot end of October, and then it just blasted off. One thing to note, okay, and this is something where you missed it, okay? It's a little late at this point. I mean, we're going to try to ride that to 220. You're looking for intraday triggers, but let's just note, how do we know that something's going to blast through a target 1, target 2? You get high-level HSI like that, and then it continues. This is the kind of thing we'll look for crypto later in the year. Okay? But we're climbing. We're climbing, and we're in a price discovery phase. I talked about that in the crypto webinar last week, 10 days ago. Price discovery versus price recovery. We can talk about that in stocks, semiconductors, crypto. It's all about harmonic price action. So, AMD is important. In the same way NVIDIA is. I think AMD is kind of the ugly sister of NVIDIA that probably will play a lot of catch up here. It doesn't matter if it was 10 years ago. What's it doing now? Here's the SMH, the VanEck Semiconductor ETF. What do we got? I mean, that's just insanity. Massive move. Weekly. Here you go. All-time highs. Beautiful bat pattern all the way back 2022, but that doesn't matter. We're dealing now with a 1618 extension at about 206. How do you get there? Well, your other components will play catch up if it's AMD, if it's applied materials. It's like this, big stuff. There's targets up here. Applied materials, weekly. We know this. Maybe as high as the hop at 180. Okay, but an interesting way to gauge this isn't close in terms of any kind of confirmation. Look at Amplified. Amplified RSI busting through. What should happen here is a strong continuation. And even on your weekly HSI, that's at a 50 level, about ready to turn back up. That's strong. That is strong. And what about something that I was screaming, and it's not as, it's not sexy like AMD or Nvidia, but Intel 5172 is probably where you go and just take a look. Look at the crab pattern and go back a year. Go back pretty much all last year. Remember what I was saying? 28, then 30, then 34, then 36, 38, 40. Go to 52. And just, it's earnings tonight, 5172. I don't think anything's going to change here. If anything, you turn up from this 50 line and you're headed back up into the overbought, you got a little more to go. This is an example of price recovery. Sure, it could go to price discovery, but you need to understand that the long term has got some overhead resistance. You go amazingly. Think of it this way. Remember what I showed you with AMD way back in the 2000? Well, there's the high for Intel in 2000. Okay, went to 75 or 80, then back down to 12 for a decade, and now back up. And what is here? Obviously, the big weekly type 2 crab. Come on back. Come on back. 52 is the official retest. Look, we've got a lot of these that are doing this on a weekly basis. If you're not aware of it, if you're not aware of the levels, well, jump over here really quick. Become a basic member. Where is it? What are we doing here? Come on. Over here. Basic membership over at harmonictrader.com. Click the basic members page. Again, it's amazing. I get maybe 3 or 4 questions a week on where to go with this. So let me just be really clear. Get your HPC free 2-week trial by sending your username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. And then all this other stuff, the books, the other software, you can try it all for free. I talked about that with Riley over on that interview last week. We didn't really even show any charts. We just talked like harmonic pattern history and misinformation and why I do what I do. So check that out. That's over here on Twitter. And here, it's Harmonic Trader. And then I reposted that. Here, just scroll down. For Riley is right there. Okay, so click that, and then there is the interview. So even showed my face. Pretty amazing. I don't really show my face too much, and I was still half sick, man. Still recovering from respiratory infection. But that's the deal for Intel probably tonight. You get a little pop. Target that 52. A couple other tech that are big that we really need to address immediately that have massive patterns. Netflix on the weekly. Look at this. What's going to happen up here? That's monthly price recovery, but here, weekly is a type 2 now. Up at the massive deep crab back in 2021. 540 what is the official point, but still no confirmation. So we'll wait on that. It's pretty remarkable, though. Pretty remarkable. A couple more. Obviously, Tesla down today. And that was something I was looking at where Tesla needed a dot on the daily, and it just finally gave us a dot around 207. Did nothing. No turnaround. We were thinking maybe this goes to do a type 2. Let me clean it up. Like here. We're looking for that to return back up. Never did it. I mean, the dot and the fall apart here, pretty devastating. No patterns. I mean, no patterns. We have to come back to, say, the weekly time frame. And maybe we need to be looking at this. Maybe we will get a type 2. Then that's at 127.88 is the XA level. And at this point where you are, you just let that come in. Nothing here. HSI is oversold. There you go. Harmonic strength index. No reason there to jump until that turns. Pivots. That's no opportunity. I know some people are thinking, oh yeah, this is an opportunity here. Let's wait for the type here. Monitoring closely. Okay, what's going to happen? We're going to roll out. Where's SPY? Because weekly is checking back. You're still 2 weeks away. 2 bearish candles. And I did say that the 113 up here around 500 is probably something to consider in the first quarter. Can we get to that 113 and then probably pause? Just pause. Nothing changes. I just want to be clear too. These major moves in semis and other things are great signs for longer term probabilities. And we're still assuming 1618 expansions. For the SPY, 565. For the Qs, it's I think it's about the same, about 550. So, and that's the long-term playbook, no matter what happens in November. But you're going to stair step along the way. So why not a little pullback at some point? Give me a week or two bearish, and then come on in for a 382, and then go again. Something like that. That's the process. That's the philo-taxis mechanism, the market philo-taxis mechanism that happens no matter what. Can't escape it. Just like BTC. Just like BTC. Right? Let's go over to the diamonds. Dow diamonds. This is an impressive chart. You got to like that. But it's going to take time. Your new highs here. Trying to make the move. You still have the same structures. 1618 is for 420, you degenerates. So that's, but that's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to do that in even a quarter. Maybe by January of next year. That's probably where we're headed. Currently 378. What else? Well, some of the big ones. We've seen it. If it's, come on. Remember this? 3M still has yet to move. And on the daily, it's like this. A couple longer term patterns where we've been eyeing this since 100, and it's just not doing anything. So clearly markets favoring tech. The old economy still not moving yet, but there are a lot of interesting patterns that we should be paying attention to. A lot of those are in the crude oil sector. So what's going to happen there? Crude oil futures on the weekly, now 76. Amazing. Remember what I said last week? That everything is popping, but where were the major patterns? Down here in crude oil. And it's a type 2. Making its move. Today, this week, get above some of these highs and give us a 3-bar breakout. You certainly have a yellow dot. No doubt about it. Let me see here. What's the, can I get that? Where's the, no, that's not the right one. I had a bat. It's a type 2 bat. I don't know where my pattern is on the daily. It's like that. We know the deal. 68 to 70, scraping the low. We can start to make progress. Remember this? Remember Gush last week? Now this is where you got perfect patterns. yellow dots, ready to go at least to a type 1 off of that low, 29 to 34. That's pretty easy now. And just think of it this way, in the next 30 days, and that started about 6 days ago. So there's the type 2. Go to the right, paint it like this. Probably in the month of February, something's coming in. Here we go. What else? China stocks are down. What's up, nose? Red nose says Nikkei futures deep with a deep crab, a bearish deep crab. Tells there's a lot of that. Maybe war trade. I don't know, Carthago. That makes sense, but a lot of those haven't. Like you're saying, Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin's like this. That doesn't look like a war coming. Lockheed Martin has patterns down here, but again, this is where the news really gets in the way of our emotions and ability to relax and be chill. Because where's the pattern? Here. 401 on Lockheed Martin. Nothing there. Big gap fill. So that's the way to think about it. However, you need to chill between now and then to get to that point. Maybe just set an alert. It's 4:30. I'll look at it at 4:01. If I don't get what I see down there, and that's ideal type 2 behavior, but if I don't get confirmation down here, I'm going to just wait on it. I showed my folks this morning this, and this is something I've posted in the past where Humana is a massive type 2, but look what's going on. We had a Gartley up here. We're looking at 403, zero confirmation. And it blows right through. You're looking at 445 to 403. Tell me what you see. No confirmation. Deep oversold. There's nothing there until that turns. I haven't looked at China in a long time. China. Let's look at China. FXI. I'm pretty good with those symbols, kids. I better be, as long as I've been around. Daily or monthly, look at that market. Personally, I wouldn't touch that with a 100-foot pole because I'm a principled guy. I've got a few preferences, personal preferences, why I wouldn't do certain things, wouldn't put my money into certain areas. This is definitely one of them. But that chart, there's nothing there. So all-time 886, but why would you? That's a monthly. Here's a weekly. FXI. Okay. Just nothing that really, there's better places like crude oil than going to China. And things like, we've looked at BABA before. Way to destroy a company, guys. Way to destroy a company. Way to run your founder, to a that's the nicest way to say this. Force your founder to go back to the local university to adjust your educational ideals. Let's put it that way. BABA, no thanks. No thank you. Okay, big oversold, but again, why would you? There's zero price action. That's not constructive at all. Again, more like things that we have talked about. Occidental Petroleum, okay, on the daily is like this. Big pattern, shark down here, and it's a type 2. So if you're down there around 55, 57 with Warren Buffett, you're looking for at least a pop back up to target 2 to 66. A couple others. Of course, Apache. A couple of these that I've been trying to feed you guys to be in front of it. Remember I was saying that last time? That's another. That's called getting in front of a pattern. So you're there at 30, ready for it. Now 31.50. Can we get to 38? Something like that. So keep an eye on that. Let's take a quick look at things like crypto related, like Coinbase. Okay, daily or weekly. Weekly. And I'm going to keep updating this because you're at that spot. We're looking for this return move on Coinbase, but is there any confirmation here? Not quite yet. What about one green candle weekly? Not yet. Also, weekly oversold HSI. It's just not there. You're early. Great. You're in front of the pattern. That's what we want to do. But let's be patient with that turnaround. That could be a few more weeks. Seems like a long time to wait, but that's the game. That's what we do. That's our job, is to be patient and wait for the signals to present themselves. And that with MicroStrategy, we got patterns here. We have clear targets. Just a little lower, need more time. I'm still targeting 381 on MicroStrategy for that corrective move. HSI is oversold, but again, this week, next week, probably 2 or 3 weeks before we really move it. What's up, Red? Red saying that Coin is giving him a shark for the 5.0. Although the software is kicking out the crab. Listen, the software kicks out the biggest structure. That's how it's designed. Why? The bigger the pattern. All right. The better the setup. I've always said that. And I agree with you. We could say that this is a shark creature. Shark to 5.0. That's how that works. But the crab, I like the crab structure. It's just a more reliable, tighter formation. And remember, it doesn't. The 382 is a minimum. We can overshoot and go between target 1, target 2. It's in this area, this nether region of at least 127. So be mindful of that. It's just a touch early. And I think other things like, hey, check out Mara. You want patterns? Want to get in front of something? There's Mara. HSI. Finally. And I think this has got a 4-hour. There you go. It's a 4-hour Gartley. Real nice. And that's a type 1 on Mara. So 16 back to 22, possible. Again, trade these 4 hours. Trade the crypto now. I mean, just short-term swing trading until we can get to that halving situation. That's the plan. Mara, that's a nice pattern. That's one of the nicer ones I've seen lately. And you've got everything that you want to see here where pattern completes, HSI, dot, and then you have a few bars. Poking, prodding, testing the support, trying to come off of that low. And then start the process of breakout, go back to 22. Yep. What's up, Captain Price? Yeah, 5.0 is named after the show, Hawaii 5.0. It was a great show. Better than Magnum PI, at least for Hawaii's sake. That one, and what about Riot? Right back to 10. 10 to 17 to 10. We got a dot like 3 days ago, or 2 days ago on this 4-hour pattern. 10:30. Okay, I like that. I can get into that. 13:12 for a type 1 return move on Riot. Easily. But that's the beautiful kind of pattern where we're not chasing ourselves. You know, think of it this way. All those bearish semiconductor patterns are like overshooting their hop levels or approaching their hop levels or something like this, towards the end of their move for now, this is a little something more we can bite our teeth into. So what about Bitcoin? What about those GBTC stuff? Things like that. Here's Bitcoin futures. Flat. This is a running correction. That's what they call that. Flat bounce rollover, flat bounce rollover, another flat bounce rollover. And I think this was an hourly. We had a bunch of patterns. Yeah, look at all these type 1 rollovers. And this is Bitcoin on the hourly. It doesn't take long to know that your bullish patterns are just kind of giving you flat corrections. Why 30 bar rule? Tell me, pattern completes, confirmation, but what happens 30 bars after? It's like that, barely a bust. Or you get a lot of type 1 moves, pop up 30 bars, hits target 1, bearish confirmation, rolls down again. Same deal here for the hourly chart on Bitcoin. Completes, nice little pop, but 30 bars, sideways, and come on back down. I suspect we'll be back down to the 39 area, 39,505, maybe as low as 38.6 pretty soon. And no opportunity yet. It's like this on the weekly. Nothing changes. Give us a 382. We're looking for that C point after getting a rather devastating B point. Let me go to better chart. That was futures chart. Coinbase. I reposted something from Ponzi, who put up a great historic reference on the 618 rejection. I don't know if you folks know this, but basically every time we hit a major weekly 618, we had an inflection. I'll get that in a second. I'll post it. Really, it was a great post, man. That was that kind of stuff that helps educate the people to know that this stuff repeats. You could say it rhymes, it repeats, but that's what it was. Where'd it go? I'm looking for it. Oh, here it is. Great. Oh, I thought I had it. Do me a favor, repost that. Because that's still the deal. That's still, you want to stay in this framework no matter what. And, respecting this midpoint at a B is so critical. And then getting a C point to a 382, folks, is a minimum target. And it's 36.5, 36.2, depending on your feed. And then if we go to the 618, we're not surprised. That's at 28. So we're ballparking it, 36. We'll see how it gets there. And then, if we're even at 28, we're still in this development phase of a massive crab. So it's not anything to really freak out about. It's a mild correction in the long-term progress of Bitcoin, which we've seen before. Here it is. Thanks, man. This is it. This is from Lieutenant Ponzi. Look at those. Pretty nice, right? 2016 rejection for 29%. 2019 618 rejection for 30. Another 2024 now 30% would get us under 35. I agree with that. 36, 35. That was a great post. That's why you follow people like him. You'll get information and resources for free that You're not going to find anywhere else. So that's the deal with Bitcoin. We're, and we're going to have to be patient with it. At a minimum, talk to me when we finish the 30-day deal. From that inflection, I mean, you cool your jets for 30 days. Whatever you have to do, go to Legoland, go to a beach, both of which I will be doing. February 10th. February 10th. Okay, and until then, I don't care what it does. I just let that thing drop and do what it must do naturally. What else is like that? Well, Solana and the Solana 30-day thing pretty much failed. You couldn't do much, couldn't get any kind of pattern. Really couldn't any zero development. There are, some things on the 4-hour where it's interesting for a little bit of a bounce, but not really. Maybe that was the hourly. Oh, it was Avalanche, not Solana, on the 4-hour. Still, hey, if we don't have a pattern, like the algos aren't kicking out a bullish pattern, that should say something. You've got the 30-day window. Off the top, the inflection, which is, 121, 122. We've said that forever because of it was this big weekly pattern. Here you go. Where'd it go? Finance. There you go. So it was, wasn't the shark, it was the grr. It was a bat. Where's my bat? No. I hate when that happens. There's the bat, 121.56. So be patient with that. Be patient with crypto. Go take a vacation for a few days, a week, and then come back, see where we are. But the dot, and this is on the weekly, if it's 30 days, it's into February. What if it's 30 weeks? Still don't care. Just understand that puts you into July. And until you see something between February and July, could be a pattern, could be an oversold signal, you're doing nothing with that. I don't care what people say. I don't care what Big Ben says. I mean, his whole, I love the way people try to co-opt communities. It's hilarious. Let's stick to framework. And I think 47.54 by definition is the type 2. So between now and then, let's just let it drop into where it has to go. Not a biggie. The other one, Avalanche, this does have a few things on the short term, but look at that. Oh, that's the market cap chart on AVAX. That's a pretty interesting chart, right? Wouldn't you agree? How about spot? Looks like this. But the 4-hour, we looked at the 4-hour last, daily is a deep crab on Avalanche. I just remember I was saying Avalanche does have a few things that are interesting. We're in a 30-day pause up here. Okay, that's the ideal kind of scenario where let the thing give us an inflection, and will we get something between now and then? There you go. That could be great for a type 1 trade. That's all it is, and that's all I'm interested in at the moment until Bitcoin can come back around and do its thing, where let's get some confirmation at 28 and trade it for a move to 35. But that's different than Solana. Or how about this? Axie Infinity, AXS. Okay. 4-hour chart. Talked about that last time. Right around 670. Couple of patterns daily. off of the December retracement around 694. We got a dot on the 4-hour. I'm looking here. The other interesting thing about this chart is that if we go back, and it's difficult to see it, but we had the bat pattern go back to June at 675. Regardless of the fact that it went to 460, sorry, 470. This is an important pattern. So in that support at 675, we kissed it last week. I could see us stabilizing there early. Give me a dot. Give me some oversold signals. Give me something to respond to, not just jump. And then the weekly chart, you know, not surprised to see that thing. Let's get some perspective there. But this is a lot like Solana at 10, a lot like Avalanche at 8, you know, well before the development phase. So get it on the radar. I kind of like that one. What's up, Red? Red's got some of those interesting ones too. The new generation crypto, I like to call it, like OP. What's there? Not much. Not much. That's a weekly. Daily chart is a type 1. And okay, I kind of like that because it's a type 1, but we go to 252 and get a dot because we can trade the return phase. Trade it. Trade. From there, you know, right at the hop level down to 252. Just notice this thing was threatening to blast through the hop, but after about 4 or 5 sessions, that rejection was telling. So let's do the same thing. Give us a dot at 252 on OP. Yep. Couple more. What about Cardano? Let me get off of that. Let's go to the Crypto 24 chart. Cardano. Okay, you're going to get an opportunity, but it's still in a type 2. And we've checked back. Take a look. It's a beautiful type 2 where target 2 is 38. Even if you wanted to jump in today, all right, retesting that prior oversold harmonic strength index arrow, you are 2 more bullish days away before that thing could even start. That's the way to think about it. So again, if you're going to jump in there, buyer beware. Couple more. Yeah, I can look at CRV. Curve had some patterns at 50. Like this. Now 44. But there you go. You're back down. All right, that's a great one too. It's a massive bat pattern retesting the zone. So curve, I like it, but I need a dot. And what does that mean? You need 2 more bullish candles, 2 more days. Software will kick it out, but there's nothing to jump into just yet. 50 cents, I said that. You're at 44. Okay, but I need to see 2 days because you don't just turn on a dime. You never do. Price action's a process. So you're checking back now. Red, okay, somewhat red. Can you go green and then give me another green before you can assume that that turnaround's going to happen? That's how I'd look at it. And there's your trend line. We're back to wrestling these trend lines on the daily. So just like last year, when it was down, kind of trending lower, scraping lows, we had to wait till that thing turned around. You're many sessions before that happens. What's up, Jared? Sure, I'll look at Cosmos. That looks like this. That was another one that didn't do much on the last year's pop. What, 6 to 12? Okay, only a double. But shark pattern right off the top that just completed around 860. And doesn't this have something on the weekly? No, other than just T-coin material. Let me see. That's a better chart. We need to see a bullish week. You need to see some fire come back in where at least you get one candle, one bullish, like, hey, we're not going to catch the knife. Let's let that stabilize a little bit. And that's represented in at least a couple of days. But I like this shark. It's kind of like AVAX. You have a pattern, but you need confirmation. So, I think it's just going to have to be patient in the process. You let this stuff do what it has to do in the longer term. And again, I'll reiterate, this is a Bitcoin cycle. So let Bitcoin take the lead, because money's got to come in to drive the space no matter what. And the bulk of that money goes to Bitcoin first. And then it'll filter down. Your other stuff is, all of your other T coins are speculative, where if the market's not going to move, you're fighting against the wind. One or two more. One or two more. I haven't looked at this in a while. Bitcoin Cash. Bat pattern. Look at that type 2. That was perfect. But weekly, get a little perspective. Remember this? It's a big butterfly down here at 208. No confirmation yet. Nothing. I need to see something develop. What about the daily? No, nothing there quite yet. Confirmation either. And of course, Ethereum. How could I forget that? $22. Remember what we said about Ethereum giving us a big inflection off of, it was a crab, and we had, you have several things up here. You have you have your all-time, okay, your 382 weekly target at 24.85, and there it is. So we're going to a 30 bar retracement phase off of that. There's 24.85 one day. The second day you get a red candle. That's no follow through. And then the breakdown. So nothing. Again, another need to see at least one day, 2 days, bullish days before that stabilizes. 4-hour chart. What were we looking at last time? That, yeah, but I thought we had something at around 2150. It escapes me at the moment. Hold on. I'll come back to that. I forget. It's off the top of my head. But I don't remember what that was. 2150 for some reason stood out as a big number on Ethereum. I'll come back to that. Ethereum Classic, well, that's just doing the inside retracement. I think that gets back to the 20 level on the daily. There you go. Oh, good. Yeah, this is a little better. You are, what, you're getting an HSI today? All right, trying to come out, but that's early. And remember the big bar. It went from 20 to 33 really quick. I think we were thinking something like this. Just do like an inside or really kind of short-term 618 retracement like that, 2375. I like Ethereum Classic. I think that's another one where, I think proof of work is definitely going to have a spot in the future. But we need to buy it on the retracement with oversold triggers. It's there. I did want to show and update GBTC and Ethereum, the ETH ETFs, because of all the hype. Remember this? The Gartley, that we looked at the Gartley a year ago, and after hitting target 2 at 40.19, that was perfect. And still, we can assume pretty much, I think with this, 30 days is nothing. 30 bars, or even within the next 30 weeks, you come down for 10 or 15. And the only way you're going to get this to continue is get a high level oversold reading. Like, look, HSI clearly trending lower. I discussed this last time, but important to reiterate it because sometimes it's, difficult to kind of follow it. Takes a while. We lose our patience. It's pretty easy. You lose your patience. You go a little squirrely. And you say, all right, I'm just going to chuck it in here without any signals. But that's not what it's telling us. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is a time factor. How much lower? We'll see. Maybe even to 29, which matches up with what we're assuming with Bitcoin itself. But you need oversold triggers. You need things where, like here, even on the daily, HSI tested. Okay, you don't have a lot of confirmation, but let's say you knew something they didn't, had inside information that someone was going to buy 1 million Bitcoin tomorrow through GBTC. You're still waiting 2 days for the price action to say, all right, I've turned around, I've done my retracement. On the daily, at a minimum, okay, 30 days is from the peak, gets you to over, I'm not even going to be able to put it in. It's like February 20th. So you're still in the window. This is a great first step, but you're early. Also remember Ethereum, the Ethereum Grayscale Trust weekly chart. Look at this. This was a back-to-back. Shark right at the low at $6. And then there's a crab right above. Look. Come on down. There's your confirmation. We looked at that a year ago, and then runs right into a 1618 extension right off the low. Now, this is a crab, yes, but this situation, you're looking for a minimum of 16, but this has what we call a harmonic impulse wave to it. Why? It's a big down move, little divergence, and then quick pop up to a 1618. That typically becomes a 5-0, like this. Down, bang, bang, and then to the 5-0. The 50 on that is that's like 1370. When you're connecting dots, we still see that this stuff has work to do. And you're not oversold. I mean, how close? Weekly, not there. Not yet. Even our amplified RSI. It's a complex structure. It's a nice one. And you have a lot of the markings where you can assume that this is a correction because that's an M formation in the amplified RSI zone. But you have to go to the 50 at a minimum. You have to go to the 50 at a minimum. That's how you get in front of it, with understanding where you are in this process. So ETH, let's talk at 1370. All right, also don't forget, Shark support at 1175. This is where this stuff would be a screaming opportunity for me. And until you get down there, you're going to let it fall. You're going to let it come in. Interestingly enough, we're thinking about the halving, Bitcoin halving. You're still at least 10 weeks away from that. So let's do some kind of correction into it. Wouldn't it be great to buy Bitcoin on a retracement before the halving, knowing that proportional or even disproportionate gains come after the halving? That's how we get in front of this stuff, folks. Line it up, understand what are the indicator developments, where are the major levels, and then target it. Target it soon. But it's early. It's not yet. ETH's got to get to 16 across the board. Be aware of that. Thanks, David. Yeah, that is all of that impulsive and complex stuff is in volume 2, which everyone can download right here. Get the volume 2 book and then look at those indicator structures. I've mentioned this before, but it's important to review. And I started with relative strength itself, stuff like this, or really what we're dealing with is a bearish like that. And so this is really what you want to see. We're having a lot of these complex formations there. Let me blow it up. Make it a little clearer here. All right, we're looking for this complex, that M formation comes down to the 50. And then followed by the return, the retest of a singular impulsive structure. That's the RSI BAM. There you go. That's what it looks like. You're looking for Bitcoin to come down, go to the 50, or Ethereum Classic, whatever. Complete this to the 50. Like this. It's corrective. And then it does a launch retest. I talked about that last time of what we would expect on the breakout, on the retest, like the semis, some kind of massive launch through. But for now, where are you? You're trying to finalize this complex reaction. That's all it is. That's where we are on like Ethereum. There you go, on the weekly. You got an M formation. You're going to at least come to the 50. That's how you know you're not ready yet. Close, getting closer, but it would be probably something more like next week you start to look. Cactus Leo says the ETH ETF narrative coming soon. I thought they just postponed that. I thought they just postponed that. I don't know. Somebody posted that in my group. So let's just let's be patient with a lot of this stuff. Look, if you're thinking about the Qs or semis, these are all about to run into major targets where you're kind of getting to the end of the move of the possibility for now, with larger hype to come later in the year. If you're looking at crypto, okay, you're just sitting there being patient. You are sitting on your hands, waiting for stuff to develop. Look, something like Avalanche. Where'd you go, Avalanche? That has patterns. Not everything is going to have patterns. Not everything is going to be the same. There on the daily. All right? That's different than a lot of other things where you have a pattern here. It's telling you something. The T1 designation, maybe you retest that one more time, but at least that's the beginning of some kind of opportunity. They're not all there. Not some daily structures, yes, but a lot of others need more time. This is what we want to see, though. Avalanche is showing us the kind of pattern that should develop during this retracement, where it's clear where our levels are. Give me the confirmation in that zone, and then we go. I don't know about that, Gary. On HKD, what's HKD? Don't know. AMT Digital. No, I can't do something like that. Look, low floaters, you can't. Look, be really careful with low floaters. I don't know what that is. I don't want to get off our point here. And Axie Infinity, that was the other one where, again, let's get something, the 4-hour chart. Yeah. You know, again, clear patterns, tradable patterns. That's just a trade. 690 to 840. I can get into that, and we'll circle back on that next week. All right. That's what I have for today, folks. Thanks again. Coming on out. We'll be back on Tuesday. You have any questions, get to me at harmonictrader@gmail.com. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next time.